Good morning. You get to have coffee with me again this morning. So today, or this morning, I wanted to talk to you about this book that I read a couple years ago. It's called Atomic Habits. This book was something that really did change my life, and it made building habits a lot easier. So one of the first things, and I don't even remember if this is if it talked about this in the book, but a lot of times when we start thinking about habits that we should, that word is the worst, should, try not to use it. But when we start building habits or deciding what habits we could add to our lives or what habits we could take away from our lives, we really need to be intentional on what those are. Sometimes we're trying to add habits that maybe our friends are doing or that society is doing or that we think is important, which I'm not saying the habit isn't, but it might not be your habit to have right at the time. So first off, before we even jump into how to build a good one, I want you to really think about what you're asking of yourself. Is it high priority? We all know there are habits that we could have that would make our life easier maybe, or more fulfilling, or we might look healthier or feel healthier, or all these different things. Like, we know those. And I'm not saying you couldn't add them, but I do think you need to be really intentional on what you're willing to add to your life at this time. So that's the start of it. Okay, there are 6 ways to build an atomic habit. So he's not talking just a little habit that lasts for about 30 days. Okay, so these are habits that you're gonna really try to have for the rest of your life. Okay, so one of the first things he says, and I have them written down here so I don't miss one, make it easy. And this is so key. Like, you need to make it really easy for you to do it. I used to really like a house that was like all put together, really clean and neat and whatnot, and it looked nice when you walked in. But then it almost seemed like I wasn't living in the house, right? So then pretty soon I had my weights out, or if I wanted to work out, or I'd have I have a little trampoline that I love having in my view so that I see to do it. So it makes it easy for me to grab it. There are a lot of things that I tried to make easy and they still don't happen. So I have to keep working on those, but definitely make it easy. Don't make it difficult to try to get your whatever task you're trying to add or whatever thoughts you're trying to make. Like, don't make it hard. Make it easy. Make it easy and simple. I talk about that a lot. We overcomplicate things. If this is a health thing that you're looking for the next 30 days here or whatever, make it simple. There is so much information out there. And I'm not saying that it's bad, but it's overwhelming. And then we have so many things that we want to do and change and create. And then you listen to one person and they say, eat 150 grams of carbs, and the next person saying don't, like, it's all over the place. So just make sure or 150 grams of carbs, that's not what I meant, protein, and the next person saying less. Anyway, so just make sure that you're making it as simple as possible to start off with. Okay, the next one is set up your environment for success. Now, this one is really huge for me. That's what I was talking about with the house. I'll be moving here soon, so things will look a little bit different, but I have a completely different idea of what my house is going to be set up as so that I can be successful in these different areas that I want. So, for example, if you are like trying to minimize your TV watching, get rid of your TVs. Like, just get rid of them, or only have one room to watch it in, and maybe it's with a chair that's not that comfortable. Whatever it is, just whatever you're trying to create for yourself or habit you're trying to build, set it up so you just can't fail. Like this is really, it would be really hard not to fail. The next one is add the habit to something you already do. Okay, so this was a good example. I talked about this the other day where I added my exercises, my stretches that I do every day. I added it to when I make my coffee, because I do make my coffee almost every day. Not saying I don't ever miss it, but what stinks is if I miss my coffee, I usually am missing my exercises too, and then I have to add that in later somewhere else, or it doesn't get done, to be honest. So add it to something that you already do. This time I found a different flosser. You guys, I'm still flossing. This is huge. But it looks just like my toothbrush. So it's actually sitting right next to my toothbrush, which is way easier to remember to do it. And for some reason, I've had those little picks before, and I didn't like using them. They always like fell apart or whatever. And this little thing that I have hasn't fallen apart yet. So I am stoked about finding a way to get my flossing in. Okay, an accountability partner. Now this is obviously, it could be this group. It could be someone you're showing up for, someone who's showing up for you. There's a lot of different ways to think about an accountability partner. Sometimes, honestly, like I remember when I was just kind of getting into this space, and sometimes my accountability partner wasn't an actual person I knew, and they could care less or they didn't even know that I was using them, right? But I was paying attention to their content or whatever, and I was watching it every day, or I was trying to listen to it or read it or whatever, but that kept me accountable. There's another book called Body Love, and that was one that I was going through when I was trying to change my eating habits quite a bit. I read that book, which takes me a while to read, right? So when I was reading that, it kind of kept me accountable for what I was actually striving for during that time. So it could be a book, it just, it doesn't have to be an actual person. Okay, make it fun. This was big for my workouts. So beginning of the year, my life kind of changed drastically. And I was working out and lifting and running and doing all these things. And you kind of get burnt out when you're doing things that you're not really loving at the time. So just pay attention to whether you actually enjoy it. So I started doing more yoga and dance. I'm not even a dancer, but like I would just dance around the room or dance on my trampoline or whatever. But it just made it more fun to move. I think we just have it in our heads that we are doing bicep curls and we're doing squats and we're doing the treadmill or whatever. Like that's like the workout. I changed it up, and so far so good. I feel really good. Probably don't have the cardiovascular health that I had before with running all the time, but it's just where I'm at right now, and I'm totally content with that. Okay, and then the last one, and this is my favorite one, of course, but this is think about the person you want to be and how that habit fits into that person. Think about how that's going to change you, build you up, build your willpower, maybe build your confidence, build your clarity, like whatever it is that you're really trying to strive for. I wouldn't put this down to a number. I wouldn't put this down to a IQ. I wouldn't, I would definitely work on whatever this habit that you're trying to instill into your life. Think about what the person is going to be afterwards. Okay, so this was a longer video today, but those are the 6 things. So not in any specific order, but make it easy, make it fun, add it to something that you're already doing, find an accountability partner, and Josie, what was the other one? Set up your environment for success, and then of course think about the person you're wanting to be rather than the goal you're trying to achieve. And what makes a really great one is when that one habit has multiple of these rules, because you're going to kill it. You'll kill it then. Okay. I hope everyone has a great day, and we will talk to you later today. I've added swimming lessons to my routine. Um, I think I've got another week or two of it, but I haven't been making them. So today I'm going to swimming lessons. So if I do not come on, send a search party for me. Okay, have a great one, everyone.